Welcome to Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Today, we're looking at chapter 27 of Genesis. There are 46 verses. Beginning in verse 4, we see here that Isaac describes these meats that he wants as, I like them. Masoretic, he says, I love them, such as I love. So it's a distinction to make that in our modern vernacular, love means like, but in the Hebraic mindset, love is an action. So that's why it does say correctly like as a preference. Verse 9, we read here tender and good, describing the goats, the kids. Whereas here in the Masoretic, it just says good in verse 9. Two good kids. I'm not sure if that has to do with the way the meat is tenderized. For example, you have Kobe beef and they treat the animal very well in order to make the meat tender. But that's just speculation on my part. Verse 12, we read here, ill-intentioned. So Jacob is concerned his father may perceive him as one ill-intentioned versus one who's a deceiver. So a deceiver is ill-intentioned. However, a deceiver is very specific as to their actions of how they go about their ill intentions. Verse 16 says, she put on him, Jacob, the skins of the kids on his arms, whereas it says here, they put it on his hands. So that's a distinction there. It's different. I lean more towards it's both arms and hands, but hair distribution is not equal on the arms as in the hands. You have a lot more on the arms on your average man. Verse 20, it says here, what is this? What is this which you have quickly found? Isaac speaking to his son, who he thinks is Esau. Whereas in the Masoretic, it says, how? How is it that you found it? So how did you do this? Instead of, what did you find? Maybe he's testing him as to, did you bring me the venison? But he didn't say what it was. He just gave him the meat. But venison has a distinct flavor. Anyhow. Verse 24 says, very son. Are you my son? Septuagint versus, are you my very son? So that was added in the MT. Verse 29 says, let the nation serve you. That's the blessing on Jacob. And princes bow down to you, and be you Lord of your brother. The sons of your father shall do you reverence. Accursed is he that curses you. Blessed is he that blesses you. The Masoretic says, let people serve you. Nations bow down to you. Notice it doesn't say princes, so he's been demoted in the Masoretic. And he is Lord over his brethren, not brother, so multiple brothers. Whereas he only has one brother, which is Esau. So it doesn't make sense that he has brothers and sisters. He only has Esau. And let your mother's sons, not your father's sons, bow down to you, giving the authority to the mother, possibly, I'm not sure, but not acknowledging the father here. And the rest of it is the same. Now we're going to look at verse 31. Just a minor difference. Meats. He made him meats versus meat. So in a court of law, that wouldn't hold up, but just wanted to mention that. Verse 33, Isaac was amazed with very great amazement. So notice that he was amazed. He was, wow, pretty much wow. Who then is it that has procured venison for me and brought it to me? Versus the Masoretic says, Isaac trembled very exceedingly. It sounds like he was afraid. And he said, who? Where is he that has taken venison? So he's asking Esau, who? He already asked him, who are you? And then he's repeating it again. Why would he do that? It's redundant. So he does ask him in the Septuagint, who are you? And they said, who then is it that brought the meat to me? Instead of where is he? So as you can see, it makes more sense, the narrative, the dialogue in the Septuagint. Where is he that has procured venison for me as opposed to taken venison? So a little bit of a wording difference, not a major difference, but something I noticed. Verse 37, if I have made him your Lord, and technically he did make him his Lord, Jacob, Lord over Esau, and it says, behold, I have made him your Lord. So difference of wording there. Isaac being troubled, verse 38. So Isaac was troubled at what happened, and Esau cried aloud and wept. Here in the Masoretic, it omitted that he cried. His reaction is not there. Verse 40, there shall be a time when you shall break and loosen his yoke from off your neck, versus the Masoretic saying, it shall come to pass when you shall have the dominion and you shall break his yoke from off your neck. So it's saying he'll have dominion and he's going to break his yoke from off your neck. But it doesn't say that in the Septuagint. You won't have dominion. It just says there will be a time you will break, not just break, but loosen the yoke. So you're going to be free from that yoke that your brother will put on you. Esau was angry with Jacob versus he hated Jacob. And this is not just a regular hate of loving less. No, this is pretty much to despise. Anger is a separate thing than hate. You can be angry but still not sin. However, if you let that consume you, it'll lead to worse thoughts and actions, and you can see what he wanted to do next in verse 42. Actually, it says here, I may slay my brother Jacob. He wants to kill him. So that anger led to that. It led him to that. Verse 42, it says, the words of Esau, her elder son, were reported to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said, Esau, your brother threatens you to kill you. How did she find that out if he said this in his mind? Or the Masoretic says in his heart. She never told anybody. He didn't tell a soul. Let me just finish the Masoretic here. It says, the words of Esau were told to Rebekah. Okay, well, who told her? And she called Jacob and said, Esau, as touching you, concerning you, does comfort himself. So he's comforting himself by purposing to kill you. That's not what the Septuagint says. It says that your brother threatens you to kill you. Straightforward. He's not comforting himself or anything like that. So how, again, I ask, how did she know? Well, according to extra biblical books, I believe it was Jasher, either Jasher Jubilees, it was reported to her in a dream. She dreamt, and it was told her in her dream that this is what Esau said, and that's why she warned her son Jacob. So it was divinely disseminated to her, communicated to her. In verse 44, it says, and dwell with him certain days, the mother to the son, to Jacob. Dwell with them certain days versus tarry with them a few days. So certain days can mean X amount of period, undetermined. Few days, as we know, is a handful of days, more than 2, but probably less than 10. So that's open to interpretation with certain days. And as we know, Jacob stayed there for many years. The last verse we're going to look at is 46. Rebekah telling her husband Isaac, why should I live? Because she's weary of her life because of the daughters of the sons of Heth. And she doesn't want her son Jacob to take a wife of these daughters of this land. If he does, why should I live? Versus, what good is my life to me? So it's worded differently, but it's a similar sentiment. So with that, that's all I have to say for this chapter of 27. I thank you for your time. Jehovah bless you and make your way prosperous. And it is Shabbat today, so Shabbat Shalom. I'm re-recording this video because the audio was not working from the first recording, so that's why this is on Shabbat. And stay tuned for the next episode. You can see that's already posted, Genesis chapter 28. Jacob's Ladder. And until next time, this is Jack Knight for Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Shalom.